Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode 148. This one, I'm very excited to talk about this one because this is the first new episode of the anime since April. Yep, finally, One Piece has finally released a new episode of the series. Episode 930. A lead performer appears. Queen the Plague emerges. This episode covers the last 2 pages of chapter 934 and covers pages 2 through 10 of 935. Yep. Episode picks up exactly where, of course, we also have, like, the thing we have opening title sequence like usual. Plus, here's something interesting, though. We have a long recap. Oh my gosh. This recap, now normally recap usually like maybe like barely a minute. This felt like it was like 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, my guess is probably the reason why they did this, and this is just my personal theory, because it's been a couple months. I'm sure some people may have forgotten exactly what happened in the last episode. So they spent 3 minutes doing a recap. So, if you think of this episode, it doesn't have a lot of original footage at all. It's like, okay, like the first couple minutes is basically the opening title sequence, which is nothing unusual. And then having 3 straight minutes of recap. Yeah, the episode itself doesn't finally start until 5 minutes in. So roughly for a 23-minute episode, basically the first 5 minutes is simply the opening title sequence and the recap. So basically, if you look at it, you have roughly 17 minutes of original footage. Yep. The episode pretty much, like the first couple minutes, pretty much just finished up with happening. 934. Luffy, of course, sees that Hydro is being beat up by a guard. He, of course, is still being, well, in the recap, still being sped up on. By the way, I don't think this guard appears again. Not that I can think of, no. So he walks to the guard, beating up Hydro, and he proceeds to punch him really, really hard, and breaks his middle guard. Though, at one point, when Luffy's about to hit him, he's about to pull down his spike head, but look how he blocked, but Luffy was able to avoid it, and punches him, and of course, all the guards really want to kill him, because he hit a guard. Here's the thing. From what I've heard, I think that people hit guards in prison, they get a heavier sentence for doing that. Their sentence is extended. But apparently in this series, if you hit a guard, you get executed on the spot. And Luffy beats up the guards. And of course, then we see Queen, where we see the debut of the Warden, who's there briefly to fight Luffy. Like, oh, he's strong. Of course, he's like, how is he able to do? Oh yeah, his cuffs working perfectly fine, except that he's basically doing all via willpower. Meanwhile, though, on the outside of the prison, Queen makes his debut, and this is pretty much spot on how they presented in the manga, where he just shows up, and of course everyone's like so happy to see him, and they open the gate, and they kind of basically extend the sequence a bit because this whole sequence takes up like 2 or 3 pages in the manga, and this was extended to about 5 minutes of screen time. Like, you have Queen coming in, he rolls right through, and then you see him, like, later you see him at a tent, where he's like making kissing noises, a picture of the courtesan who was killed a couple episodes back by the leader of the Yakuza. Yeah, and they actually added this out, a couple lines which actually is not from the manga, where a couple of subordinates are telling him, hey, do you think we should tell him that she's dead? And everyone's like, what, do you want me to get killed? No, thank you. And you see him do his dance sequence. By the way, this dance sequence was like covered in a 2-page spread. And this took up roughly 2 minutes of screen time, this little dance sequence. It's fine. It's purely for entertainment value. And we see Luffy picking up Hydro while he walks away, while Queen's doing his little showtime. And then we see him sit down. It's like, he asks the warden, of course, the guy who Luffy punches there. And before I get to this, I should talk about a sequence that actually was mentioned in the manga, but the anime added it in. We actually see Renzo, under disguise, delivers this obviously fake key to this crab guard. Yeah, he's got crab fruit. And he drops off, they can get the seaside handcuffs. He instantly grabs them, and he's like, nah, I'm not one of you guys. I'm basically Ninja, of course, he fences the wall because he's basically like who's sideways, and he runs and he avoids guard by throwing like little mini spikes in the ground. And then we see the guard actually talk to one of the vice wardens. Her name is Solitaire, and she apparently ate the monkey fruit. Since when do people who eat a monkey fruit grow 4 extra arms? Yeah, I don't remember this character appearing very much in the manga, but nice to see they throw her in. Oh yeah, and they also have she's in the executive tower, probably all the wardens. Like, how many vice wardens are in this place? She's like the third one introduced, because the first one introduced basically Aki had the fruit of a hippo, and then we have her, and then we have the guy who Luffy punched. Yeah, there's like 3 vice wardens here. Like, how many vice wardens are at this freaking prison? No idea. And then we added a sequence in here where, like, okay, tell me your top 3 problems. He does a little finger thing, which, by the way, this actually is not in the manga. This is complete anime original. Where he's like, number 3, Captain Kidsuke is like, oh, he does the same exact face. Like the fact that kids escape. Number 2, someone stole the keys to the Sea Star handcuffs. Ah! And number 1, and I love the way they did this. Straw Hat Luffy's on the run. He's like, ah! And then the camera pans by and look, and he's like, chase after him. It's just like wording change. But I love the fact they did this because this particular sequence is kind of ruined in the manga. Yeah, this is actually a big change because they put this line just like he gives that reaction, the fact that Straw Hat Luffy is escaping, and then we turn the camera and we see Luffy scaling up a wall with Hydro. Yep. And well, that's pretty much it. That's what happens in the episode. Because next week, we're going to go to the bathhouse. Yep, looking forward to this. And we're going to start the sumo fighting, which we'll see Big Mom show up at the prison. Yep, I'm looking forward to this. And it's coming next week, which I'm so happy with that. We're not going to have another hiatus again. I hope not. Really good episode. I like the change they made here. Mostly it's made the same. Of course, the whole thing was Renzo. It's complete anime original. But I love it. They actually changed the sequence. Now, this comes basically when Luffy's basically saying escape. That comes on page 10 of chapter 235. And I appreciate the change because this makes total sense thematically wise. Like, he's told Luffy's escaping, like Luffy's on the run. And then you turn the camera, you see from it, and apparently he turns, and then you see Luffy stare up at the wall. Because in the manga, it's like, oh, he says Luffy's escaping, and then we also see Luffy escaping. I appreciate them adding that in because that basically was kind of weird seeing the manga. I was reading it prior to this, and it's just so weird seeing that. But all in all, great episode. Looking forward to next week, which is also the return, which also the manga is coming back next week, which I'm so happy with that. Yep, so that's it for this particular review. My next review is a Comic Corner, which I'm very excited to talk about these 2 trades, and then we review new chapter of My Hero Academia. And then later on today, hopefully we review of more One Piece, basically reviewing the 4th arc of the series, Arlong Park. I'm only about 3 episodes in right now, okay? See you next video. Bye.